The dust had barely settled after the First Crusade. The holy city of Jerusalem had been retaken by Christian forces only 2 decades earlier, but the roads remained treacherous. Bandits roamed the hills, and pilgrims, those who had risked their lives to walk where Christ once walked, were being slaughtered by the hundreds. That's when a small group of knights, 9 in total, stepped forward. They were poor in everything but faith. No lands, no fortune, just swords and prayers. They vowed to protect these vulnerable pilgrims on the road from Jaffa to Jerusalem. Their leader? A French knight named Hugh de Payens. He was no great noble, no royal bloodline, just a man of deep devotion and unshakable will. He approached King Baldwin II of Jerusalem with a proposal that sounded insane at the time: a new order of knights, not sworn to a lord or a king, but to God Himself. They would be warrior monks, living under strict vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Yet they would not spend their lives in quiet cloisters. These monks would fight. The king agreed, and the knights were given lodging on the Temple Mount itself, believed to be the ruins of Solomon's temple, hence their name, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, or as history would remember them, the Knights Templar. In those early years, the Templars were mocked. How could a handful of ragged knights possibly make a difference? But within a decade, something strange began to happen. Word of the Templars spread across Europe, not just their bravery, but their cause. They were pure, uncompromising, a symbol of divine justice in an age of corruption and war. The Church took notice. In 1129, at the Council of Troy, they were officially endorsed by the Pope himself. This gave them something no other group had: autonomy. They answered to no king, no bishop, only to the Pope. They could cross borders freely, collect donations, build fortresses, and even run businesses, all tax-exempt. It was a political and spiritual blank check. The Templars grew fast. Noble families sent their sons to join the order. Wealthy patrons donated lands. Some gave entire castles. Others simply handed over sacks of gold. And the Templars were smart. They didn't hoard it. They invested, managed land, lent money, developed a network of wealth and information stretching from Scotland to Jerusalem. Before long, the Templars were more than warriors. They were bankers, architects, and international diplomats. But let's not forget their original purpose: protection. Templars were feared on the battlefield. Their white mantles, emblazoned with a blood-red cross, struck terror into the hearts of Muslim warriors. They trained relentlessly, lived simply, and died brutally. They were often the first to charge and the last to retreat. But something deeper than swordplay bound them together. The Templars followed a strict code, a fusion of religious devotion and military discipline. They prayed constantly. They owned no personal possessions. They ate communally, slept side by side, and bathed maybe once a year. The intention was simple: create men who feared neither death nor sin. A brotherhood beyond corruption. And for a while, it worked. By the mid-13th century, the Templars had reached the peak of their power. They controlled over 1,000 commanderies across Europe. Their ships sailed the Mediterranean. They built the most formidable fortresses in the Holy Land: Crac des Chevaliers, Chastel Blanc, and the infamous fortress of Acre. And behind it all, they maintained their original mission: defend pilgrims, defend Christianity, defend the Holy Land. But their very success began to sow the seeds of their downfall. As the Crusades faltered and Jerusalem was lost again, kings began to question why the Templars still wielded so much influence and money. Why did a religious order need its own fleet? Why did they act like a state within a state? And nowhere did that resentment burn hotter than in France. King Philip IV, known as Philip the Fair, was broke. Wars, debt, and failed campaigns had drained his coffers. And the Templars? They were his creditors. He owed them money, lots of it. But what if, instead of paying them back, he eliminated them? On Friday, October 13th, 1307, Philip made his move. At dawn, across France, Templar knights were arrested, hundreds. Charges ranged from the scandalous to the absurd: heresy, idol worship, spitting on the cross, kissing each other in secret initiation rites. Under torture, many confessed to anything. Their leader, Jacques de Molay, denied the charges until his death, but it was no use. The gears of power were already grinding. 7 years later, de Molay was burned at the stake on the Ile de la Cité in Paris. His final words? A curse. He called upon Pope Clement V and King Philip to meet him before God within the year. Both men died shortly after. Coincidence or something more? The Order of the Knights Templar was officially dissolved in 1312, but their legend? That was just beginning. Whispers spread. Some said treasure fleets vanished into the night. Others claimed Templars escaped to Scotland or the New World. And still more believed they never disappeared at all. They simply changed names: Freemasons, Illuminati, Keepers of the Holy Grail. Did they ever truly fade from history, or did they just go underground? In the windswept highlands of Scotland, whispers of Templar presence lingered on. Cloaked figures met in secrecy, sharing tales of survival and resilience against the odds. Here, the legacy was more than myth. It was a living tradition. Some believed they hid sacred artifacts. Others claimed they wielded influence over kingdoms and parliaments through discreet counsel and guidance. And in hidden chambers, some say they continued their ancient practices, safeguarding knowledge deemed too powerful for the world to remember. Maps of undiscovered lands, scrolls of forgotten wisdom, all under their care. Do you think it's true, Master? Truth is a seed. It grows where belief waters it. Remember, some legends are more enduring than stone.